Have you ever wanted to send a bulk email, a mass email through Gmail, perhaps Outlook, and you haven't done it in a little while and you're not sure where to start? Well, perfect. Because in this video, I have the ultimate guide, the ultimate checklist for how to send mass or bulk emails with Gmail and Outlook, including with video. So let's go ahead and get into this. Guys, in 2024, January of 2024 was the email apocalypse and everything changed. And it became much harder to send emails in bulk or mass emails as of that date. You needed now things like SPF, DKIM, DMARC records. You want warmed up. There's different volume limits on cold sending. A whole bunch of changes came down the pipeline. And if you're, like I said, you haven't done any bulk emails since then, these are all things that you should be aware of. And so in today's video, I'm going to go ahead and just jump straight in, guys, to the checklist that each and every one of us needs to be aware of. I will have a deliverable too. There'll be a video of this, of course, and then I have a little sheet with some of the slides. So the very first thing, guy, is to clean your list. If you have not ever cleaned your list or recently cleaned your list, if you're not even sure what that means, guys, what that means is if you send an email to an email and that email is no longer valid, meaning the company went out of business, they changed or deleted that email, anything happened where it's no longer valid, you're going to receive what's called a bounce or failed delivery. And what that tells the email senders is that that was a bad email and you're not very careful. You're sending emails to people that are no longer valid. And who does that? People that purchase lists, people that aren't careful, people that are spammers and bad actors. So what happens is if you send to a bounced email, it will hurt your sending reputation. If you're using a third-party platform like MailChimp or something like that, and you get too many bounces, they will actually kick you out of their service, right? Because you're a bad behavior. So this is so extremely important, regardless of however you plan on sending your mass emails through your own tools, through Dubb, through your favorite CRM or email sender. You absolutely want to make sure your list is clean. Some services actually provide this as part of their technology. In fact, Dubb is providing this as of the publishing of this video. So if you need help cleaning your list, come sign up to Dubb, and it's included in your accounts an ability to clean your list as you're sending to these emails. So number one, what the list cleaning does is it tells you exactly which emails are safe to deliver, which ones will bounce, which ones are absolutely failure and you should never send to because it will only hurt your reputation. And that way you can send emails much more intelligently and future-proof your email sending goals. Make it long-term. Because guys, if you come to send some emails and send even a 1% bounce rate, right? One email out of 100 is bad. That's not good for the email senders, and they don't like that. 2, 3, 4% bounce rate, which is really common if you haven't cleaned your list, will hurt you even faster. So that's why, guys, number one is clean your list. And now with Dubb, we can help you with this. So if you're watching this recording, and come check out the options for cleaning your list here in Dubb. Now, straight to step number two. As I mentioned, if you're looking to use Gmail or Outlook to send mass emails, that's what we're going to break out to, as well as other email service providers like Yahoo or SendGrid or any email service provider technically we can use to send a bulk email. The important thing when selecting a sender is to be aware of a few limits or a few caveats and trade-offs. First of all, with Gmail and Outlook, you have both a free mail and a paid version, right? You can have a workspace or connect a paid domain to Gmail or Outlook. So instead of Darius@gmail.com, it's Darius@Dubb.com. If you're doing this for the purposes of business, I will always recommend to use a paid domain like Darius@Dubb.com. However, if this is for cold emails, I would never send from my primary domain, which is a separate combo. The reason I'm saying have a paid domain is because the sending limits are higher. If you want to send a bulk email with Gmail or Outlook, you can send more emails on a per day basis with a workspace or a paid domain connected to your Gmail and Outlook. So if you're using a free mail, your very first step is to connect a paid domain to Workspace. Get Google Workspace for, $10 a month or an Outlook account for some paid amount per month, 365, and connect your domain to those. This increases not only your daily sending limits, it also increases your sending reputation. One of the bigger things that happened in that email apocalypse was free mails got hurt, right? Free emails don't deliver as well as paid Gmails now. That was one of the biggest ways to cut back on spam. And they won't publish this everywhere and say, yeah, absolutely, they get 50% better deliverability. So it's kind of a transparent rule, but it's certainly reality. So a paid Gmail, a paid Outlook has a higher deliverability, a better reputation for sending. And it's also a slight vanity, right? When they receive it, they see a free email or a paid domain. One has a slightly higher reputation in terms of just pure vanity. So all the benefits say point to a paid domain. If you're on a really tight budget and you're like, I got this free email, that's all I got. It's actually okay, but the volume and the reputation and the deliverability will be lower. So that is number one. Choose your sender. Let's talk about limits. If you guys are using Gmail and Outlook through a third-party tool like Dubb or another CRM, it's going to be limited to about 300 per day. So within a 24-hour period, Outlook and Gmail, the paid versions, will allow you to only send around 300 emails when it's through a third-party tool. And what I mean by third party is like this, right? With Dubb, if you're using Dubb to send the email campaign, the bulk email, then it'll be limited to around 300 per day. Again, with any other tool that you're connecting your Gmail or Outlook to, it will be about the same. Now, if you're sending directly through the interface of your tool, there's also limits here, like mail merge, right? And in fact, I've heard rumblings that they're adding new mail merge capabilities to both Gmail and Outlook. The classic Outlook has a ribbon functionality where you can do a mail merge. It's an old school piece of technology where you can get things like first name. However, that was never easy to do in Outlook. And it is now very easy to do inside of technologies like Dubb and others. So whenever you're sending a bulk email, a mass email through Gmail or Outlook, I'm always going to recommend personalization because it increases opens, clicks, and responses. It's been studied for years now. Having some personalization versus zero, it's pretty much proven to increase results. So I will always recommend some form of personalization, which again is possible in a mail merged Outlook, but very easy to do within Dubb, which is you just add your contacts into Dubb and then you can connect your email settings to Dubb. We can connect Gmails, Outlooks. I mentioned the limit of 300. And if you guys need to send more than 300, I'm recommending a tool called SendGrid. SendGrid is, there's an entry plan for the API pricing, $20 per month for 50,000 emails per month. You could even send all 50,000 in one day. If you need more than that, there's a higher tier. So if you are sending, depending on your limits for mass or bulk email, if you need more than 300 a day and you need them all to go out in one day, I'm going to recommend SendGrid. However, Dubb also provides a backup functionality, a default function where, let's say your limit is set to 299 or 300 and your list is 900. When you add that list of 900 to Dubb, it's going to send all 299 one day and it will automatically resume and send the rest 299 the next day, and so on and so forth until that list is finished. This is great if you're not in a really big hurry to get those emails out. If it's a Happy Valentine's Day, Merry Christmas or something, obviously sending it 3 or 4 days later is not an option. So depending on your exact requirements for how many emails you need to get out, exactly when and how often, you may consider either Gmails or Outlooks or potentially a SendGrid. And when you're using that SendGrid, it's going to look like it's coming just from the same as your Gmail. So when I send it, it would be coming from Darius@dubb.com, or from my Gmail would be Darius@dubb.com. So now also, guys, if you're considering sending cold emails, we talked about the sender. Let's talk about another piece. If you're sending cold emails, it doesn't matter what your sender is. You should not send more than 50 emails per day per email. Meaning, if I have a Darius@coldemaildubb.com, I would never send cold emails from Darius@dubb.com ever. If you guys have your domain at mycompany.com, never send cold emails from mycompanydomain.com email. You would get a second email specific for cold email because cold email has a high risk of reputation damage, people marking your emails as junk or spam. So if you're sending cold, do not send from your primary domain. So that's why step 2 is select the sender. Gmail, Outlook, SendGrid. If you're sending cold, you're going to want a different sender other than your primary email. We're a Gmail shop. We don't ever send cold emails from Dubb.com. They all come from other domains. And I advise the same for each and every one of you. If you sent 100 cold emails from your primary domain, first of all, you're 50 over the limit for what their limits are for cold email. Maybe not warmed up. How many of those were bounced? We could have really affected the reputation of your primary email very negatively in just a single send. So you get marked as spam 3 times, you get 3 bounced emails. Email senders are like, what's going on with this guy? He's got all these bounces, all these junk, all these things. So dedicate an email for cold sending. The other segments here, guys, besides cold, you have opted in, you have your engaged contacts, the people that have been opening and receiving emails from you. So there's a few different segments we'll discuss. Anyways, step 1, clean your list. Step 2, select your sender depending upon your sending requirements. Now, step 3, check the health of your sender. This means a few things. Again, I mentioned the apocalypse, guys. I wish it didn't happen. I wish it were so easy like it was before, but the reality is it's not. So here's what we now need to do. The very first thing is you want to check. And again, I have a complete resource and training. So this is the short version I'm doing in this recording. But guys, on our YouTube channel and our coaching program, we have all these things pre-recorded, including how to check your email health. I'm just going to quickly show this one because this is fully available for everyone, right? Anyone even watching this recording on YouTube, you can come check out these articles that I've created. So it's on support.dubb.com, and then just type in email or sorry, SendGrid. SendGrid is what the article is called. And it has all of this stuff here connecting to Gmails and another one, Outlook. It has these 2 things that I'm going to say are extremely important. Checking your email health. Are you on blacklists? Do you have the proper records? Email apocalypse happened. New records are required. SPF, DKIM, DMARC records. If you don't know what those are, check out this video, this article I'm pointing you to, and then these resources. Those are going to help you test your email to see if you're ending up in junk, in blacklists, if you have the right records. And then from there, guys, I have another training, and this one's on YouTube, which is email deliverability follow-up, how to get removed from the blacklists, how to set up those technical records. They're in the article and in the coaching and on YouTube. So you guys I can't link them directly here. I'd show it to you directly, but they're all available for you. So right in this one channel, right? You don't have to search for multiple places. The only issue too is with email, the blacklists, even AI is not good at answering that. You say, hey, get me off these blacklists. It can't do that yet. Some of them still require some manual activity, and you might be on blacklists. So I highly recommend testing to check, because if you don't know, you might just fail your next campaign, right? You're on these blacklists, you don't have the right records, you have a bunch of bounced emails, and you go to send this campaign with high hopes, only for it to blow up in your face. I don't mean to sound negative here, guys, though, but I've seen this happen many, many times where people weren't aware of all the changes that have happened. They uploaded their list that wasn't cleaned in years, or they bought a list that was never cleaned. Then they sent it through an email sender that did not have good reputation or the appropriate sending volume. Then they put a bunch of stuff in the email that wasn't supposed to go there, like some language and copy and way too long of text. And as a result, they burned through thousands of emails with terrible result. And we're like, I want to go cry now. So don't do that. And instead do the things that I'm showing you here in these orders. Clean your list, select the sender based on the requirements, then check the health of that sender. We're talking blacklists, technical records, and using the email deliverability tests. Now, once we've checked the health, making sure it's good, we're going to segment your audience. If you have a master list, right, I always recommend trying to break up your emails. And I see the question here, guys, if you have GHL, a different sender, GHL and other CRMs, the majority of those are using a SendGrid. A SendGrid that I mentioned, you can own yourself and pay at cost, or you can lease or rent them from your favorite CRMs, because that's what most CRMs do, is they rent you a SendGrid account. And the SendGrid that you're borrowing from them, you're paying something extra for, and you're usually limited. And that's how, like, Go High Level and other CRMs, they're leasing you a SendGrid and a Twilio, and you're using those on the back end. The problem with that is you can't take those with you. You don't own them. You can't adjust them, or you can do a deliverability test with them, but you can't use them in any other platform because you don't really own them. You're beholden to use them within GHL or whatever CRM that you're renting SendGrid and Twilio through. Twilio's for the SMS. So if you guys are doing that, no problem. But the other piece to be aware of here is if you get your own SendGrid, you can save money, and then Go High Level and other CRMs are going to let you use the SendGrid in there. Most of them, they say you can use your own Twilio and SendGrid. They'll let you port your stuff. They won't let you take theirs though and use them other places in every scenario that I've seen. So if you're in the outlier of using a third-party CRM for this bulk stuff, the same things still apply. You want to send from your own domain, and you want to be aware of your deliverability and your records. If you're using maybe some of our competitor technology, you're often sending through shared infrastructure, and the results are not good because there's a lot of bad actors using the shared infrastructure to send spam and junk and to bounced emails, which is hurting the pool for everybody. With Dubb, it's not like that. When you guys are using our technology, it's through your own sender, which you have complete control over. So that's what I'm trying to do. You know, the expression from the Bible, I'm going to teach you, here's a fish, or I can teach you how to fish. And my goal would always be the latter, to teach you guys how to fish so that you're not sitting there waiting for someone to hand you a fish. So now we're talking about email deliverability and sending emails, not fishing, but you get the point. It's kind of fishing, right? Yeah, it actually that's very, very relatable to fishing. So that's what we're doing. We're sending emails, the F fishing, not PH type of fishing. Don't do that. So anyways, step 1, guys, clean the list. Step 2, select your sender. Step 3, check your health. Step 4, we're going to segment your audience. Cold people, limited to 50 per day per email. If you have engaged or people that have opted in, they filled a form, you've been emailing them, the sending limits are much higher, right? There's not this 50 limit per day. If you're uncertain about what an opt-in is, let us know, right? Come ask. There's a number of ways to opt in. It's essentially that they're filling out a form, they're doing something, a signal is sent to their inbox, and they're engaging with that signal from your emails, from your domains, and that's getting them opted in, which will ensure they're delivered more emails in the future and that your emails actually get sent to them and they're not added to your cold 50 per day limit for that domain. The last one, guys, this is a special type of filter called engaged, which means if you've been doing any type of emailing in the past, like a lot of people I know will just keep sending a newsletter and they're seeing, okay, is it getting opened? But what they're never doing is they're never removing the people that are never opening, which is also just as bad. If people are not opening your email, that actually hurts you. And if you keep sending emails to them that never open them, it actually continues to hurt you. And so what we've done is, again, we try to make things as easy as we can whenever we can. And one of those options is this concept of sending to engaged prospects only, because you want an easy button to do that. And you don't necessarily know how to do that. There's different types of engagement, right? Depending on how frequently you're sending emails and stuff. What we have is this little option right here that will say send to engaged only. And what that does is it makes sure that it's a specific filter that people that have engaged with your emails in the last 180 days or never, right? If it's a cold list, you don't have any engaged yet, but you shouldn't be sending to mass cold. My only point of saying this is if you are like, hey, what's engaged? How do I make sure I'm sending to my engaged only? There's a filter built into this on Dubb, which is right there. If you're using some technologies outside of Dubb, there will be different ways to approximate this. The idea, though, is you're sending only to the people that have previously opened or engaged with your email content. And what that does is it supercharges your deliverability. When you send to people that have previously engaged, the likelihood of them re-engaging is exponentially higher. And when you get multiple engagements concurrently, that's telling the senders, the email service providers, that you're a great email sender, that, hey, wow, you get a lot of opens, a lot of clicks, a lot of cool stuff. So that's why this is important, to being aware of your engaged. It's a little more technical than most people are prepared for. We've tried to make it easy. If you're using Dubb, there is a box for it. It will reduce your list. If you have a list of 10,000 and you click that thing, it's likely that only 20 to 30% of your list is actually engaged. It's very unlikely that if you have a list of 10K, all 10,000 are engaged, meaning they've engaged with something recently. It's not likely. So that filter will typically reduce your total send, but will ensure that you're sending to the people that are more likely to open and respond. Anyway, this segment, or this part, guys, was segmentation. If you have cold folks, brand new, never opened, if you have past clients that have opened, clicked, watched, if you have engaged audience, my whole point of mentioning this part is segmenting your cleaned list, because now we're going to proceed to the next step, which is crafting the video, the body, the message. And if you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. And that's why segmentation is super important at this phase. Because if I have cold and I have old, I'm sending two separate emails. If I have leads versus customers, I'm sending two separate emails. The last thing you guys want to do is try to do a one size fits all thing for your campaigns. It's easy, but that's just lazy, right? Guys, it's easy to eat donuts and be fat and never take care of our health, but it's lazy. And the same thing goes for email and for our business. It's easy to just send the thing that does not give you the results that you want, the blood work and the body and the whatever, right? The metaphorical health. So instead, don't be lazy. Break up your list into segments. If you have cold folks, they need to be broken apart from the rest of your list because it can really wreck your sending reputation, right? If you have 10% cold and the rest is opted in and you're sending everything to everybody, that 10% of your cold, what if those emails aren't good? What if you just collected them? What if they're marking you as spam or junk because they don't know you yet? Now all of a sudden it's tanking the reputation for the rest of your sends. So segment your list, guys. Next step, almost done. Record a video. The whole point of watching this training, guys, is if you want really good result on your email, I'm going to say try a video, especially if you've never done it before. If you guys are in this training, you will likely have tried it, but I want to make sure you try it the right way. And I want to also share just a little success story, a little sort of excerpt of a client here that was able to put all these things together and some really cool results that they had. So let me just redact a couple of pieces of information here so I can share this with you. Okay. And then let me share my screen. So this is an example of a campaign, and you can see had only 35 people, a small campaign, but we got nearly a 30% click rate. 30% of the people that were sent a cold email watched the video, and then their CTA was like, hey, call me. So call or text. But the fact that we had a 30% watch rate on a cold email, the subject was right, the deliverability was done well, the segmentation was done well. They followed each of these steps that I'm providing. If you guys are aware of what cold email statistics look like, it's like 2 to 3% click rate. That was a 33% click rate on a cold campaign when things are done correctly. And when we're using video to differentiate from the rest of the 99% of their inbox. Now, there will be different schools of thought, right? For cold email, should it have no links at all? Should it have a video? Only a split test will really determine what's going to work better for your particular offer. So one last piece here, guys. The video is super important and it should have an irresistible offer in it, but the subject and the body are read and engaged with before they even see the video. So at this point, I'm going to advise, make a really good subject line. And a really good subject line does not mean telling them what the contents of the email. Hey, here's your statement inside. A really good subject line tantalizes them, compels them to open the email, says, what the heck is this? I can't resist. I must open that. This is really cool looking, relevant for me specifically. Things like personalization and understanding your audience, segmentation, right? So I said segment them because your lead might be in a different place than your customer or your past client or whatever. So segment, and then your subject and body. Honestly, guys, for the offer, for the audience, for your business, there's so many variables in what goes to making a good subject line. And the body, though, is less. Subject line will be totally variable, but make it to where the person is compelled to open. And that is not, here's exactly what's in the email, usually, right? Unless something is in the email that's a free, whatever, something amazing for them. And it's not, it's an offer, right? It's a pitch, more than likely, a market update or something. So we need something super interesting to get them to open the email. The last part of this, guys, the body, right? What accompanies a video email should be extremely short. And again, compelling them, teasing them to watch the video. Something like this, maybe a little bit more. Watch this video about X, where X is something super interesting, compelling, irresistible to them. Video emails shouldn't look much more than that, guys, and especially in mass and in bulk. The last thing you want is your mass or bulk video email through Gmail or Outlook or any service to look like it was a mass email. Guess what that does? I don't care. This was sent to 1,000 other people. If I hand wrote you a letter, or you thought I hand wrote you a letter, that would have a much different impact than if you knew that I wrote the same letter to 10,000 other people. Just instantly has a different feel. And the same exact thing goes for email. So instead of using these like really templates, right? The beautiful looking templates, you could say, but instead of looking at these mass looking email things that look like they were written for thousands or hundreds of people, don't do that anymore. Try sending an email that looks like it was written for one person only. Even if it's a mass email, even if it's a bulk email, try making it look like it's not. Just try that. And in fact, if you've been doing the mass and bulk thing before, try this one now instead and measure the difference, because times are changing. Email deliverability is changing, guys. And how people are responding to these types of emails is also changing very quickly. So send a human looking email. And my biggest piece of advice with that is split test it. If you're like, no, I love these templates, these beautiful looking templates, and I love sending it to everybody at once, and I hate everything that you're saying, Darius, great. Go do all that. And then try following the pieces here and compare the result. Because, guys, I will tell you, every single time I've measured the difference, I've worked with a client that was doing what I was saying before: no segmentation, not cleaning, weak subjects, long, boring template bodies, and they did all the pieces that I'm talking about. We've always 30 to 3x'd their response rate, their click rate, their engagement rate on either cold or marketing content like newsletters, on bulk emails, mass emails, and campaigns. So try it on your own. If you, again, don't take my word for it, just come try it. Do a split test. You can do it right inside of Dubb, right? Send one campaign exactly how you wanted to, with beautiful templates and everything, and then do one following this ultimate checklist and see which one nets you a better result. So, guys, that is it for the ultimate checklist on sending bulk emails through Outlook or Gmail or any other sender using Dubb or directly in Gmail itself. And with the emphasis, of course, on video. If you guys need support in your next campaigns, come join these live coaching programs, submit an open mic, book a one-on-one. However we can help you, we'd love to help you get your next campaigns and increase your result dramatically compared to what you might be experiencing doing the same. See you in the next one, guys. Thank you.